the story of the old and the new, where the changeless ways of uncounted centuries collide with the changing ways of our own. Here, the city of Accra sprawls its growth on the west coast of equatorial Africa, with no buffer between the new and the old. The boy Kumasenu started life in the simple fishing village of his ancestors. He and his cousin Agbo, who had been the leader and hero in 1,000 escapades, would often spend the whole day away from the village, instead of taking their place at the fishing net. Just as the new grass pushes past the stubble of the old, so Kumasenu and Agbo longed to leave their village and go far off to the big city, where everything was new. This morning, Agbo said, as he had said many times before, life is like the corn on the stalk. When it is new, it is sweet. When it is old, it is hard and fit only for animals. Here, life is old beyond memory, and less changing than the sea. But my Uncle Pharaoh says that what has been good enough for his father was good enough for me. Ah, your uncle. He is long in years, but short in living. For him, there is no road that leads beyond the village. Let us swim. But the sea could not wash away their restlessness. When a westbound lorry passed, they called to the driver, "Take us, will you? Take us to the city." But their only answer was a taste of dust. Agbo was angry and swore, and Kumasenu swore with him. Then Agbo said, "I've had enough of this place. From now on, others will taste my dust." Yes, Agbo had decided. He would go to the city. The restlessness of the boys was a matter of concern to the whole village. Kumasenu's aunt, he was an orphan, told her husband that she was going to consult the fetish priest for help. Uncle Pharaoh doubted that this was the answer. The fetish priest could not drive out the rebellious host. And the next day, Agbo, in the coach lorry, took his leave of the village forever. Kumasenu begged for permission to follow Agbo. He was refused. He must stay, and one day be a leader among them. "But uncle," the boy interrupted. "No, Kumasenu." The answer was but. Pharaoh could not understand Kumasenu's logic, but his heart was, and was kept. A poor catch, nothing but tiny fish and seaweed. The people spoke low among themselves. Why were the spirits of the sea angry? Kumasenu, my nephew, I have spoke again. Perhaps you won't instruct it. The men are saying your restlessness is driving off the fish. Surely if your longing is so great that the very fish of the sea answer, it cannot be wrong. Wrong? To know what is beyond? To read and write and find out why iron cars go as swift as a shark? Very well, Kumasenu. The spirits have clearly marked you to go. Come with me. Theo has a friend who runs a store outside the village. He will take Kumasenu there to learn ways other than fishing. He can do no more. You are welcome, Mr. Theo. Indeed you are, Mr. Zegbenu said. I hope you are well. And Theo replied, thank you, Mr. Zegbenu, I am well. And you? And the courtesies went on and on. They asked to know of each other's wives and relations, every single one. And at last, quite naturally, they came to Kumasenu. The bargain was struck, and Kumasenu had his first job in the outside world. Zegbenu was not a bad man to work for, only lazy. For who would work hard as a storekeeper when money was to be made so easily as a receiver of smuggled goods? And here in this little store, Kumasenu first met the 20th century. The lorry driver's swagger told of the big tongue, and their tongues spoke a language half foreign to Kumasenu, a blend of many languages, a blend of old and new.
For me, I stay for proper woman because I get for money.
My master, you get plenty woman, you get plenty money. You serve with the job, you know together.
Keep quiet there, poor boy, your head like something. Boy, don't mind him. Hey, my friend, give me music, make I dance.
What make I play?
Give me an order.
was only Zegwanu, the storekeeper, carrying his money. Some months later, Zegwanu went to the next village to attend a funeral for a brother. For the first time, Kumasenu was left alone and in charge of the store. Cousin, welcome. Is it you in these fine clothes? Yes, it is I, little one. And I am rich. There is much money to be had in the town if your wits are quick. Bring beer, boy. I've come far to see you when the dust is in my throat. Bring beer, bring beer. There in the town, there's a new world and a rich one. Rich? You will see houses 5 rooms high, and lorries and cars, so many you cannot count them. They gleam with silver like herring in the sun. Yes, such a car as I will buy in a little time. For money is easy to find in the city, as easy as that. Come, let's drink to our meeting. Kumasenu, your health. Agbo grasped the impression he was leaving. He had found many things in the city, but never the blind admiration Kumasenu gave. Kumasenu listened and was embarrassed with his own poor show. An apprentice storekeeper without a shilling to pay. As always, Agbo inflamed his lungs. 4 bottles later, Kumasenu, wishing desperately in his turn to impress Agbo, said, Agbo, try my eyes, and I will show you what I can do. I will put my feet to 100 pounds, perhaps 150. Where would a bush boy find 100 pounds? Here, take this scotch, put it over my eyes, and I will show you.
All right, Magwana.
The money burns the sole of my foot, said Kumasenu. Come and look. There, wasn't I right? What tells you that this box holds so much money? For the reason that I see my master put money in it each evening. Now what do you think? For a bush boy, your eyes are sharp. Thank you, Cousin. You would do well in the city. Good morning, Cousin. I could not sleep for thinking of my fortune and your lack of it. You will never earn enough money to go to the city. Here is 10 pounds. Take it. I'll never be so generous again. Go, face the sweet life for yourself. But why do you give me this money? Why do we not wait and go together? Talk. You know lazy Zegwanu will never let you go. I'll stay and face him. I'm stronger. If you are going at all, you must go at once, bush boy, this very instant. Our little always under Agbo's spell, Kumasenu runs an excitedly to package through the London. Agbo had learned much in the big cities. Now the tale could be told of a robbery done by a boy who had been trusted too well, and no one to point a finger at Agbo. In his heart, Kumasenu was uneasy. What of the store? Do you think I cannot look after things? Go, I'll find you later in town. Hurry, the lorry will leave without you. So the boy Kumasenu forgot his conscience and rode to the big city to savor the good life of which Agbo had spoken so often. He came to it joyfully, his heart in his hand. Surely the big Khan would be pleased to see him, would say, "Welcome, welcome, you are welcome." Slowly the spirit of adventure died. Where were the welcoming hands of the city? There seemed no place for him. He was tired and lonely, and night was falling. The voice now spoke to him in his own tongue. "I am Adabir," he said. "You are a stranger. Have you no friends or family in the town?" "You are then a child, alone in the dark, shut out by everyone. Alone and hungry, with nowhere to sleep. Come," said Adabir, "and you shall be as my love." This may be good. You can sleep outside my door. Now I must go. But before I go, give me your money. You are so young, and the town is full of thieves. The next morning, Arabia took the boy to a big house. She sold goods discreetly and at high profits that the lady of the house obtained through her connections with the wholesale. By day, Arabia was a successful trader. By night, she enjoyed the protection of a wealthy lawyer, Mr. Menton. And so Kumasenu came to the big town and found himself in the employ of Arabia, a friend to many men, but faithful to none.
Aren't you?
Uh-huh. My lovely.
Yeboah was jealous, for he was Mr. Mentor's chauffeur.
Let's meet again tomorrow, huh? Oh, please.
No, I'll be busy.
Where are you going tomorrow?
Mr. Mentor, 8 o'clock.
Why do you keep on seeing him?
Yeboah, when you're out with me, please don't bring up Mr. Mentor all the time. If you want to see me again, you must learn to date me as I am. Shall we dance?
Uh-huh.
What
No business at all in this place. We are much too young to be in this place like this. Don't go away.
Arabia should have known better. It was an error in discretion to borrow both Mr. Mentor's car and his chauffeur.
I'll give you a chance of brother.
But three's a crowd in any man.
Look there. I said walk, small boy. Walk slowly.
meanwhile, Mr. Menton was on his way to Arabia. He had said he'd come tomorrow, but he couldn't keep away from it. His car, no doubt whatever, and outside Arabia's house. Edward there with his chauffeur. The discovery made Mr. Mentor very, very angry. Mr. Mentor was not the man to take it lying down.
Action! I've been attacked. Viciously and calmly attacked by these people I trusted. Attacked, assaulted, and brutally beaten, and battered and injured. But no one can do that to me. So I meant that. Not only that, I've been publicly ridiculed and made a fool of. No one can do that to me, I meant that. I assure you. I have a charge to make, Sergeant, a very serious charge. A charge of conspiracy, assault, and battery with intent to do grievous bodily harm, Sergeant. These criminals.
Kumasenu, stop!
So Kumasenu lost his first friend in the new city. Again, Kumasenu was a stranger, alone among tens of thousands, hunted, without shelter, and hungry.
And everywhere he is in chains. Since no man has a natural authority over his fellows, and force creates no right, we must conclude that conventions form the basis of all legitimate authority, justice, and
Let us take stock of those virtues which endeared him to so many, and which should serve as an example to us all. Yet did any of us ever turn to him in time of need, or hunger, or distress, without requital? He turned no man away, however humble, and his eye was the eye of a hawk. He turned no man away, however humble.
test is coming on tomorrow. I think I better get to another doctor. You know that Atama close house?
Yes, sir.
Take the boy down there now.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Tamaki. Here was a man more fortunate than Adabir, a man trained to take his place in the complicated life of the city. His wife, Grace, however, finds him very untrained in matters of bookkeeping.
Why can't you ever take this serious? You have to charge more in future.
They can't pay any more than they do now.
Sophie, don't you think a lot of them who treat poverty as an excuse for not paying are fooling you?
If I turn them away because of their poverty, it would be on my conscience. If they don't pay me when they can afford to, that's on their conscience.
You're hopeless. How often have we been through this before?
On the end of each month since we've been married.
Until next month, then.
Please, master, some police now.
What? This time of night?
I will. Maybe it's not important.
The doctor's sculpting interrupted his medical work, and his medical work interrupted his sculpting. In his own language, the doctor asked the boy the usual question. His name and native town?
Keta,
Why did he leave?
Rakutu.
His health? Sickness or fever? A juvenile delinquent. He had examined hundreds such just like this boy. And yet, the face held something.
What's the matter with the boy?
If our armor, at that boy's age, were alone and friendless, and fell among thieves, and a man came by who could help us, what would you expect of that man? You'll be all right. Nobody will hurt you.
All right, all right. I'll see what I can do.
Come along. Here now. Tell the policeman he can wait a little. I'll bring his charge back to him.
And she took Kumasenu and fed him. And while he was eating, she learned his story, and her heart ached for him. The face had aroused the doctor's interest. As a sculptor, he saw in it the youth of his country swiftly emerging from its ancient tranquility into the confusion of the present age. In Kumasenu, he saw a boy on a bridge, uncertainly and unhappily making his way from one world to another, an image the doctor had long sought to fix in heaven. Grace got permission from the police to let them keep Kumasenu for the night, and then returned him, as promised, to the juvenile court in the morning. Kumasenu thought of the powers of a certain charm, upon which his grandmother had always set great store. It was necessary to repeat over and over again, "O Yogo Nini Benli, O Yogo Nini Benli," and whatever your difficulties, they would always be resolved.
Come. May it please your worship. This juvenile offender is charged under Section 100 with stealing 2 penny worth of bread to property of Alice Obodo. He appeared to be very hungry at the time. Investigation into the case reveals that Kumasenu has no place of abode in a crowd. He has been here only for a few days. He sleeps in the market. From the circumstances surrounding the offense, it would appear that this juvenile is not a habitual thief. There is no previous conviction against him. Your worship, I therefore do not press the charge.
Recommendation is accepted. Dr. Tamaclo, are you willing to take charge of the boy?
Yes.
The order of this court is that the boy is committed to the care of Dr. Tamaclo as fit person.
And so Kumasenu found new friends to take the place of Aladir.
Not another case at all.
Uh-huh. I haven't got it.
Have you thought about his future at all? What are we going to do?
That depends on...
How can it? How can he do? He knows nothing of the world here. For months now, all he has done is to sit for your party. Left to himself, he will be as helpless as one of your statues.
Ah, yes. What will his future be?
Yes, what of the boy's future? Thinking of Kumasenu's growing interest in machinery and his fishing village background, Dr. Tamaclo went to see his old friend, Mr. Quatty, who owns the motorized fishing boats. It was decided if the doctor could arrange for Kumasenu to be trained as a mechanic, Mr. Quatty could then place him as assistant to the engineer of one of his new boats, the Lydia. The doctor thanked him warmly. You will find Kumasenu eager to learn, Mr. Quatty. Good, doctor. Good. One Sunday, the doctor had an urgent call downtown, and Kumasenu went with him, as he often did these days. The doctor now looked upon him as a son. Here, Kumasenu's past caught up with him.
Oh, what
Kumasenu was delighted. But not in the car, he said. Is that the way to greet your old friend, Kumasenu? After all these months, your doctor won't come out for a while. Take your hands off me. It's taken me a long time to find you, cousin. Things have changed since we last met. Oh, nice car, this. Lighter works, everything works. Stop fidgeting, boy. You were indeed born to be lucky. A fine, fine car, and an uncle who repaid the storekeeper in full for the money you stole when you ran away. You would now be in prison. You act as if it were news to you, sly one. We'll meet again, or would you like me to stay and talk of you to your doctor? I thought not. Yes, we'll meet again. Frightened of losing the doctor's love, Kumasenu spoke his first lie when asked about Agbo. A boy from the garage, he asked. Kumasenu, said Agbo, these are my friends. We, my friends and I, want to have a word with you in private. Come. They took him to the outskirts of the town, to the place where sour cocoa beans and other refuse was burning day and night. Cousin, Agbo said, you are now living a life of luxury. Surely you would not deny me what you owe me. It is a small thing we ask of you. It is that you do not lock the surgery door of the doctor's house tomorrow night. The loss of a few bottles of drugs would mean little to one as rich as the doctor. To us, the gain would be very great. Take your shoes off, boys. You are surely not thinking of refusing me this small service? Or shall we let the hot embers shrivel the skin under your feet, little rat push boy? And Kumasenu promised and ran. Let him go, said Agbo. I think he understands now that we mean business. That will take him off his high horse. Here, try these shoes. I believe they'll fit you. But when they came the next night, the door was locked. Tough gangster films were very popular. Much could be learned from them, and much that they showed could be imitated. In this fashion, Agbo briefed Kumasenu for the second time as to what was required. And for the second time, Kumasenu dared not confide in the doctor. That Saturday, Grace took the child to see her grandmother and left the doctor and Kumasenu alone in the house for the night. Yes? What is your address? I'll be there in 5 minutes. Do nothing until then. Fetch Kumasenu. You don't have to fetch me. I am here. Get hold of him. Bush boy, are you thinking to defy me? What would the village elders think of you now? You, whom they held as an example to follow. When the doctor returns, he will think that you are to blame. For after this night, you will disappear. At that moment, Kumasenu became of age. The child became a man. And he knew that somehow he had to strike back. And that the cost of the blow would be worth anything he might suffer. Anything at all.
Police! 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 Hey, police! Police! Police!
Kumasenu! Kumasenu! Come back! Come back!
Kumasenu the hunter had become Kumasenu the hunter. Agbo did not run for long. He knew a running man left a commotion in his wake that was easy to trace. Kumasenu settled down to wait. Through the hours of the night, the memory of Agbo's viciousness struck again and again like a whip. And he now knew Agbo for an enemy of all those who observe the simple laws that allow men to work and enjoy their lives without fear. Agbo was leaving town. Instinct told him to make a break for the open country, where the cloth of his fathers would serve as protection. He expected his description had by now been given to the police. He did not expect Kumasenu. Have you dared to follow me? Yes. Kumasenu saw that he had done what he set out to do. Far up the coast, a man in a fishing village heard of the arrest of Agbo and of the part his nephew Kumasenu had played in it. He heard, too, of his nephew's future in the new boat called the Lydian. And he thought over the tales which had reached him and spoke quietly to himself, making of his words a prayer. O Father of the winds and seas, if it be thy wish that these new things should come to pass, then let thy hand fall lightly on the scriptlings, upon whom the dangerous burden of change must fall. Let them find strong hands among their own people to help and guide them. Give them strength and fortitude, for their way into the new world is set about with snares and pitfalls which can cause them great suffering if they stray too far from the old ways, if they stray too fast, too soon. Thus the past, out of its wisdom, spoke to the future and its longing. Sail bravely into the new, but let the wake of your craft be gentle. Let your pasts remain upright and proud until we build our ships of the same timber and launch them with our common hopes.
Recently, for the first time, we held elections in Kujokrum to choose among our people 2 councillors to represent us at the local council. So, when the results of the poll were announced, it being a rest day and a fine afternoon, and the chief's brother's cousin's funeral rites having just finished the day before, a lot of people turned up to hear what the school teacher, who was also the returning officer, was saying.
In exercise of my duties as Assistant Returning Officer, and in accordance with Regulation 48 of the Local Government Election Regulations, I now announce the result of the election for Ward C of the Kujokrum Local Council.
All this didn't mean very much to us.
Results are as follows. Mr. Johnson, 168 votes.
Mr. Johnson was all right. He was a popular dispenser in the town.
153 votes.
Mr. Owusu, he too was a good man to have. But not everybody was in favor of the local council. Indeed, some people felt very strongly about it all.
New councillors? I pity. You have nothing better to do with your time, my friends. Let them cry no benyin. As the councillor, we are trust the councillor. Then cry na them councillors. You bet what am I? Put your crumpo. Musha ye. Na esa. Tabi beba no nya o be gumma. Wa ko krum ha.
Mr. Chief, I say you have got to pay rent by all means.
Rent? Pay rent? What for? Not to say man for down. Why should I give my hard-earned money to some councillors to spend? 7 minutes, I must say, or man can tell me to rent, indeed. No, thank you. I want to do my own thing.
Nobody likes paying rates, and Mr. Addo spoke for a lot of people in our town. He only had to mention the word rates to them, and they were out of temper for the rest of the day. That's how Mr. Addo felt just now, and he was going to tell his wife about it. For Mr. Addo's wife was a good listener who knew her place, which was indubitably and beyond question in the house, in the kitchen, and with the children. It grieved Mr. Addo, and it grieved him greatly to find his wife not there. And being a man filled with righteousness, he gave forth to loud indignation. What indeed have rates to do with Mr. Addo's wife being out of the house fetching water?
Guardian.
Good idea. Oh, Mama. Oh, yeah, on the practice at the. Oh, yes, bro. What a great woman. Eh? From Apple. Why are you doing? Eh? Why did you get look at the living of the Sunday being over? Can't let I can call you out when I can see a Jamaican. What's about no bagging? Somebody shall say, why can you be saying that I may tell you? Oh, that's a reference of my apple to go and go upload. Well, I got them and I may pay them and can back when I saw you go. You and I back to go back. Oh, come on, you know, I never back. Not taking a portion of what she has Good morning, Samsado. What you want? Excuse me. I'm the rent collector. You are what? I'm the rent collector. Get out from my house. Why should I pay rent for nothing at all? I don't want to have anything to do. Get out from my house. Get out, I say. I say get out. I don't want to have anything to do with the house. Get out, get out. I don't want to get out.
Nothing whatever to do with anything connected with the council. That's what Mr. Addo had said. Nothing whatever to do with the local council. But the council seemed to haunt him that day.
To get things done for Kojo Crew. Mr. Chairman, I suggest that the council be recommended to make an example of these defaulters who will not pay their rates unless our people provide the council with its income. It will not be able even to continue its present work, let alone provide improvements which are being planned. I therefore move that proceedings be taken against these people.
Gentlemen, there is a point of view I wish to put to you. Surely, if certain members of our community are not willing to cooperate with the council, it can only mean that they do not fully realize that the council belongs to them, that it is elected by them to represent them, and that it exists solely to protect their interests and promote their welfare. Furthermore, if such members of the community do exist, surely the fault lies not in them, but with us, the council itself. for failing in our duty of interesting them in our work.
So may I suggest, gentlemen, before seeking more drastic remedies, that individual councillors shall try having a word with those of the defaulters who live in their wards, hoping to persuade them into becoming willing ratepayers without compulsion.
Perhaps then the treasurer would let us have their names, Mr. Treasurer.
Mr. Chairman, the names are F. Ado of Kojokro, Kofi Mensah, Yawinsia, Kobna Bedu, Kumasenu, Kobna Mensah.
So Mr. Owusu determined to visit his old friend, Mr. Ado. But it was clear that Mr. Ado was his friend no longer.
I see. I'm happy about that because I want to speak with you alone. I've been meaning to call for several days, and as I happened to be passing, I thought I would come and tell you. Tell me? Tell me what, Mr. Osu? We were talking of you the other day at the council. That's all we ever do. Talk. Your name came up at the finance committee, Mr. Ado. It seems you have carelessly forgotten to pay your rates. And because perhaps you have forgotten yourself, I thought it would be only friendly of me to call and remind you in time, before the treasurer starts to apply for a summons in court. I did not forget, Mr. Osu. I don't want to pay them. I don't believe in councils, so I'm not giving them any of my money. Would you pay out money for nothing? I would find out first if I really was getting nothing for my money. Without your rates, all our rates, the schools will have to close down. The weeding of the town and the clearance of the roads would be abandoned. And even our market and the latrines would be neglected. It would be impossible for us to carry out our program of public works for the community if they were all like you, Mr. Ado. Public works, programs. Look at this house, Mr. Osu. Look, and it is like this. Because my wife has spent hours away from it getting water. Do your council people know that the women of the village have to walk every day to the river to get water? Do you think I should pay rates until I have to get my own bells? That's where she is now, walking back with water because we are so busy with our programs. No, Mr. Osu, you can talk as much as you like. You can't convince me. I can look after my wife and family quite well without the help of the council. So why should they expect me to help them? Does your wife think so too, Mr. Ado? I don't know. I've never asked her. Then let us ask her now, shall we? Now? Yes, she's not here. I know. Let us go and meet her. She'll think the same as me. All right, let us go and find her. All right, there you go.
Mr. Ado, of course, knew exactly what to do. "Come over here, silly," he shouted to his wife. "Come over here." But once again, his wife was strangely disobedient to his wishes. There was only one thing to do.
Number 2 for this estimate meeting is an outline of our estimates for next year which have been prepared by our committees and for which I ask Council approval. The first item under discussion is something which I know Council will not refuse, namely a sum of £2,000 for the excavation and building of a well and the provision of a pump for a pipe-borne water supply in the village of Kujukrum. This is a project long overdue. I need hardly elaborate here what benefit pipe-borne water would be.
Once more, it was a great occasion, and from all over the town, the people came to see what there was to be seen. For this is what the council had done. A water pump for Kujukrum. Yes, a water pump for Kujukrum. Mr. Adu did well to congratulate Mr. Owusu. But some people are never satisfied. They niggle here and question there and carp about this and complain about that, even about a water pump.
Do you know how long it has taken to build this pump? And who built it? Facts are facts, my friend. That is the way the council is wasting our money. You'll be sorry. When you know what all this is costing you, you'll be sorry, my friend. When the rate collector comes round for higher rates.
Leave it to me, said Mr. Adu, who was now completely on the side of the local council. Leave it to me.
Collections of rates and higher rates. More money. And for what? No, make sure my
And he took the stranger by the arm and turned him away from the splendid water pump and led him down the hill, there to speak to him in detail and at length of the theory and practice of local government and the benefit it brings to the citizens, over whom it rules benevolently, wisely, and sometimes well.
As Minister of Local Government and Housing, I would like to have a word with you before you go away and think about this film. In establishing the new local government system, the government has given you the chance of taking an active part in the conduct of your local affairs. You have seen in this film how councillors are elected, have seen them at work, discussing how local services should be managed.
I will speak English. I want to tell you of a new method of teaching simple English. It is a quick method which has been designed to help new literates in the vernacular to speak and read English. This is the book which is used to teach the first words in English. These two books help to increase the number of words that the adult has learned and also to teach him to write simple English. This is my class. They are going to help me by demonstrating this method of teaching English. You should now look at page 1 of your primer. which has the words me and you on the first line. I am now going to start my lesson. Me, you, me, you. Me. 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 You. 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 Me. 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 You. 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 This is me. This is me. This is me. This is me. That is you. 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 Him. 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 Her. 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 Him. Her. Him. Her. That is him. That is him. That is him. That is him. That is her. That is her. That is her. That is her.
This is my hand. That is your hand. This is my hand. That is your hand.
This is my hand. That is your hand. This is my hand. That is your hand. This is my hand. That is your hand.
His. Her. You will notice that I make use of the students whenever possible. His. Her. His. Her. I take great care to speak slowly and clearly. Before the end of the period, I take the class through the lesson from the beginning to make sure that it has all been understood by my class. Before starting on the next lesson, I make sure that the class have not forgotten what they were taught in the last lesson.
This is me. That is you. This is me. That is you.
This is his head. This is his head.
This is his head. This is his head. This is his head.
Sometimes it is necessary to use people from outside the class. These people are helping to illustrate lessons 4 and 5 of the book. Man, woman, boy, girl, man,
Man.
woman,
Woman.
boy,
Boy.
girl,
Girl. Woman. Woman. Man. Man. Woman. Man. Woman. Man.
It is difficult to bring a canoe to the class, so I have drawn a picture on the blackboard. It is easy to bring a small thing like a paddle to show to the class. Yao is a fisherman. Yao is a fisherman. Yao is a fisherman. It is a good idea to take your class to the sea or a river if this is possible. Here we have the sea and real canoes and fishermen. Here is a group which will help me with another lesson. Always collect the things you want before the lesson begins. I have arranged for the mass education lorry to come here for this lesson. Please stand here. That is the driver. That is the driver's mate. Pay your fares. Passengers must pay fares. If a lorry is not available, an arrangement of benches will do instead. Please sit down. Notices of all sorts can be written with chalk on boards so that they can be changed for each lesson. When you cannot find real objects for your lesson, you can make use of the blackboard and pictures from newspapers. Now, the class, knowing how to read and speak simple sentences, wish to start writing. One sentence for each lesson is enough at the beginning. What is your name? Kwame. Now, your name?
Essie.
Next, I make the class trace over the writing in the book with a pencil. I give each pupil paper and pencil so that he or she can practice writing at home. The lesson on page 40 is going to be acted by some students who have practiced their part.
Good morning, Mr. Sam.
Good morning. Have you met my friend, Mr. Robert Tego?
No. How do you do? How do you do? How's your wife and family?
Quite well, thank you. And how are Mrs. Mensah and the baby?
Quite well, thank you.
Give them my greetings if you see them.
Thank you, I will.
John and Kofi have practiced the scene on page 41 at home and are going to act it for you.
Hello, Kofi. Hello, John. Where are you going?
I'm going to the store. Where are you going?
I'm waiting for the bus to Kolebu.
I live there now. Then you must live near me. I live at Kolebu too.
Oh, here is the bus. Good night, Kofi.
Good night.
This book is a guide to a quick method of teaching English. Remember that ultimately the success of your teaching depends on you.
Games are to be opened. 852 athletes, these are the Australians, march in a great parade past the former Governor-General of Canada, Earl Alexander, now Britain's Minister of Defence. This is the Canadian team. A crowd of 25,500 cheer the English team, who provide some of the biggest star athletes taking part in the Games. 24 Commonwealth teams are entered. Wearing their traditional skirts are the Fijians. Other long-distance travellers are these from the Gold Coast. As the teams assemble in the centre of the arena, Earl Alexander declares the Fifth Empire Games open. His short speech is followed by a triumphant fanfare. And now for the sport. Here's the women's 100 yards with Australia's Marjorie Jackson quickly jumping into the lead on the far side. Marjorie, who won 2 gold medals in the Olympic Games at Helsinki, is followed home by fellow Aussie Winsome Cripps. Marjorie's time was only 10.7 seconds. A strong following wind prevents it being accepted as a new Empire Games record.
Dark-skinned Roy Ankra from the Gold Coast defends his British Empire featherweight title when he meets Irishman Bill Kelly at the King's Hall, Belfast. With 15 rounds to go, the pace is rugged from the start. With his countrymen roaring encouragement from the ringside, Kelly swaps blows with a gallant little African. Ankra takes the initiative nearly all the time, but Kelly is counterpunching well and is perhaps just a shade on points as they get set for the last round. Out comes Ankra with his title very much in the balance. The fight which Bob Gardner is presenting recalls a time 16 years ago when Spider Kelly, Billy's father, won the same title in this same hall. Now Billy rips into Ankra again. Could be a case of like father, like son. down goes Kelly for a somersault as the bell sounds to end the fight. It'll be a very close verdict indeed, not an easy decision for the judges. But the ref raises the arm of Billy Kelly, and the British Empire featherweight title comes back to Ireland. There's even greater cheering as Spider Kelly embraces his son, who hopes soon for a tilt at the European title. In town and village on the Gold Coast, the people go to the polls. With an inked thumb, they make their mark. 104 members of Parliament are to be elected, and all will be Africans. Vigorous campaigns lasting for many weeks preceded the poll. As a result, nearly 1 million men and women attend at stations throughout the area to record their vote. The Convention People's Party have vast support in Accra and hope to win by a landslide. The strongest opposition is expected from the Ghana Congress Party. Ballot boxes bear the symbols of the candidates. From sparsely populated villages in the northern provinces, fans bring more boxes in for counting. Soon it becomes clear that the Convention People's Party is in the lead. Their life chairman, whom they call the Star of Africa, is Dr. Nkrumah, the Prime Minister. Through the night, the count continues and finally comes the result. Nkrumah has won. Shouting freedom, crowds hail their leader. It's Dr. Nkrumah's aim that the Gold Coast will become a free, sovereign and independent state within the Commonwealth.
He who has a house and wife lives a happy and contented life. But a wife without a house makes much trouble for her spouse. Brothers, take advice from me. If you want to live peacefully, do like Mr. Mason in the story I will tell. Build a house and build it quick and see you build it well. Own your home and love your wife. You'll taste happiness all your life. Mr. Mason there in Yellow built no house at all. For his nephew took his money and then spent it all. Now his house is all but done. Let me tell you how it all began. Own your house and love your wife. You'll get happiness all your life. Until a few weeks ago, Mr. Mensah did not know that John Coffey fooled his uncle as this young man will spend the lonely on his jolly little life of sin. Saving for his paradise, Mensah retailed merchandise. Saving for his paradise, Mensah retailed merchandise.
Good night, Mr. Kwame.
Mensah.
Yes, sir.
GM asked me to give you these.
Oh, the invitation cards. Thank you.
For your family and friends. What will you do with your spare time after all these years?
Oh, I'm going back to my hometown. I shall be very, very happy. There's a new house waiting for me there.
Have you built it yourself? I mean, is it yours?
Yes, for the past 3 years now.
Well, I must look you up sometime.
Oh, it's a small town. I don't think you'll know that. It's far away. But my wife and I will make you very welcome.
I might take you up on that one day. Good night, Mr. Mensah.
Good night, sir.
Mr. Kwame.
Yes, sir.
Here's your invitation card.
Thank you, sir.
Whatever man's a wants, man's a gets. And it's a house, it's his own house he wants. Make up your mind to save all your cash. Refuse yourself to lose yourself and lose.
So by a hunger to do. Me ma ba ho ko tu kurbe. Kwesi mi dawasi. Na so ye mi haza mi nyu konka yi. Manyi de nan sai ma ja he. Hey, ina ji ansa no. Eti na nan sai mu hu ba ho kura. So stop drinking these days. Be am fi am yi na me ye my green day. O what that mean bua never fan again. Oh, well me referee fan bra. Be am fi am yi na me ye my green day. O what that mean bua skaka kra me wo nyina no. This is my Mr. who done. I must have been here paying. They make me run with some coffee and Gajimahuma. When your baby meets me tragic. I want to have a house to go to when I retire. That's right, I had the papa. You can run your one more done. Opina Faxadi was doing what it's not. Nerika. You can't go when you're through nature of enough. Honestly, Mwano or Akata, Mushama or Atomium, Ahamatu, in your freedom, cry. I didn't know my baby one a day. I want to mean then, and I'm brassing from my coffee again. No, where's it? Other building? Oh, what could do? Say, Sierra, I'm getting there. What can't come away? I'm got some more. I had. You've done well. Then you were one after more. My nephew is building my house. Or by the baby, what fast one I no fast but what's we? This come on here. Would you wait her that? Oh, more fast if you want to sit down, he is different. Uncle Branch, Honsbam Branch and Branch, and no. Then you can't. No one, Obi, I actually hear on sin. No issue. I had mother, Sissy. And I said the BBR social, sir, or Planny Mara, so you, who are very hard working man, my nephew.
Whatever coffee wants, coffee gets. A little girl, little coffee wants you.
I thought you were never coming.
Who was that man?
Who? Oh, just a man. He came to ask me for installment on the furniture. I haven't paid anything for 3 months.
Oh, what an odd place to ask for money. Hey, I haven't ordered any drinks.
I did, when I saw you coming. Sophie.
Huh?
You know my cousin's wedding is next Saturday, and I've made a beautiful dress for it. Oh, you should see it. 6 years of lovely lace and a new nylon slip and new Italian shoes. Oh, you should see them. I'll try it on for you, especially tonight. Oh, it's ever so nice.
Seems to me that's all you ever think about, clothes.
Don't you like to see me in a pretty dress?
To me, you are always pretty, no matter what you wear.
Coffee?
Uh-huh.
Miss Anna wants the money tonight.
What money? Who is Miss Annan?
The goldsmith.
What goldsmith?
Oh, Coffee, you promised.
I promised? I promised what?
The bracelet. You said I could have it. So I told Miss Anna to have it ready for the wedding. And my earrings match exactly because you promised you'd give it to me next time. Of course, if you don't care anymore because you found someone else. Oh, what am I to say to Miss Anna now? What am I to tell him?
Don't let's quarrel over such trifles, eh?
Oh, Coffee, yes. Sometimes I don't think you like me as before. Shall we get it now?
Oh, well, not now. I have to go and see my uncle. He and I have business to discuss. But I could be back here in an hour and then maybe...
We got the bracelet.
Well, we'll see. If you really have set your heart on it.
Oh, Coffee.
Bye-bye.
What's the day in Guazi? So, for pedal will be so once and be a Mombramo. Namara make church and watch your own. Mrs. Carlos Sidana, that be any name number fry, ever quack nam, to be you have Mrs. Bemo.
If you have a mouth of water, if you are happy or then a crew would do.
Good morning, Mammy. What I know, make
Yet you undo?
What I never snubber.
Coffee, oh, my ever known to chin up of Dan woman.
Oh, if I done, I am a candidate, the behavior of us in Shaman Propo. Oh, what a women had our country. And then you mean Rosina or Cron, up and the other so on the dance cry. Says around there, or a person they go home.
Coffee, more I ask. It's not this repair show, son.
Oh, I had a class to even orange area. But we've had trouble with the window frames.
Window frames? I'm not about.
You can see me, my friend, the judgment go away.
Instead, my phone now.
Now, so my mom was Sunday. My favorite for a no more. I want to have to him down could say again, and so I've had to pay more money.
How much more money?
Well, £40 extra.
Hey, £40 crap. Yes, yes, I can carry a jar on ye. Into me,
If you should, I send you and talk about with the
roofing planks. What's the matter with the roofing plank?
But the need to go on a map of the ocean, and I believe you see, and so could be my over and tabulina.
So they stole all the planks?
They stole all.
Have you told the police?
I am sure the Mabamadi after and a bonnet, I had or some pony, you know.
£50. Well, that's £90. Nice I heard book out.
What for?
Yea, Abnaza.
I am no kumpo.
Hey, and it's Shaka then.
The cement, it's spoiled. Down in Casino train, how many years say?
I'm not no one for Zankatado.
A whom Casino train of 100 and Zaman Catadina correct. It was an act of God, Uncle.
How much, Kofi?
For the £2, Uncle.
Well, that's £132. Oh, no, head to say Pian Grant. And I heard book out.
What for? Sat down in your den then also know I'm a cup of an answer. She had me for my phone. She went to my wire. I should marry somebody. The say that is a crazy way here. I shall go cry. See, I can come in. It will be a beautiful house, Uncle.
For more than that.
Take those things into the taxi outside there.
Here is your receipt, sir. Thank you very much. We shall be glad to have you here again. It is not often we get customers who pay cash like you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, madam. Thank you, sir. That's enough. Madam?
Believe me, you've got so many beautiful things here, I can't make up my mind.
What about this lovely music box, sir?
It's for the wife of a dear colleague of ours who's retiring.
Oh, yes. I think she'll like it very much.
All right. I'll take it.
I think I'll take this one.
Oh, I can see that Madam has chosen the very best. Do you not agree with me that Madam has got a very good taste?
Ah, yes. Excellent. But how much is it?
It's a real gold bracelet and it's 30 guineas. What for Madam we make a special price. Shall we say £27?
All right. I think I'll take it.
Thank you.
5 5s and 2 1s.
That's right. Thanks very much, sir. Thank you very much, madam. You're most welcome at any time. Is there anything else I can do for you, madam?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
The first seven of my friend, and why you need my work as I never be. No one can see for Jenny. What I'm doing, not to scare Zaman.
Oh, one but that damn be. I didn't cross what done do.
I'm not that been a Fukuyan table. That been a test as a lantern. That been a drive for the jet well pray. Mock a third level for what I got to me. They are catching one up here. No, so you should be an to scare Zaman.
Oh, more of us here. Me gently papa na dem no kan ya ye no kware e wo sia botel twin na say hunda no a na be humozin bo ribo ma mi na ewu na mbofra ye kofi a ye baby atena
yeah they be le mom
2 tots of whiskey there, 2 tots of whiskey here.
What? 2 tots? Bring a bottle of whiskey.
Yes, sir. A bottle of whiskey is £2.10. All right, bring 2 tots each.
I thought you said you got money.
Well, we spent a lot already. 2 tots, all right. Mr. Willow. Hey, Kwa, this is Mr. Willow, the best jockey in the Gold Coast. Mr. Willow, this is Miss Kwa.
Your wife?
Oh, no. Sit down, man. Sit down. What will you take?
Ginger ale. I'm riding tomorrow.
Bring ginger ale. How is the racing business?
Not bad.
Well, sometime since I saw you, what horse are you riding?
Tomorrow I am winning every race, I tell you. Mr. Mason, every horse I ride, I win. You back my horses, you make money.
Confidentially, I don't mind telling you. Business is terrible. I doubt if I can afford to lose money at the races.
You back me, you won't lose.
That's what you said last time.
Tomorrow is different. Now let me tell you, even if you have only 10 pounds, you make 200 pounds or more.
With 10 pounds?
Tomorrow is different. You are my good friend, and I'd like to help you. And second race, horse number 18. Third race. And the fourth race, back Alexa.
What number is that?
I'm riding. On the fifth race, horse number 4. On the fifth race, back horse number 2. On the last race, don't tell anybody, not your wife, nobody at all.
I won't. Thanks very much, Mr. Awulu.
Okay then, see you tomorrow.
Stuart, where is the lady?
Some gentleman call and just now.
What gentleman?
Some big gentleman call and go outside.
What time?
They go long time, the time when you and the man go talk.
Where did they go? She could go home?
I don't know, that's all I see them go.
Useless boy.
Oh, Jim, Mama, how many years? That's what. I don't know if my mother from my dad. I don't know with you. Send me if you are going to go to the bell. But then I'm going to go. This is your work.
Consolidated African Trading Company, it therefore gives me the greatest pleasure to present to Mr. Kwame Mensah, on the occasion of his retirement, this memento of his long and devoted service to the company. Mr. Mensah. And may I add my personal best wishes for your long, happy future.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, one moment, please. It is my pleasant duty, on behalf of the African Employees Union, to make a small presentation to our retiring and beloved colleague, Mr. Mensah. We cannot hope to exceed the company's magnificence, nor need we dwell on the splendid virtues of Mr. Mensah. Suffice it to say, let the young men emulate his example. We all wish him luck in his new sphere of activity. There is, however, one person who is closely linked to Mr. Mensah, to whom I feel not sufficient tribute has been paid. I refer, of course, to Mrs. Mensah. She has, in fact, been the unseen force behind the Mensah Corporation. It therefore gives me enormous pleasure to present these tokens of our appreciation and gratitude to Mr. Mensah and to Mrs. Mensah.
Oh, action, baby. If you are the... Oh, I found my baby.
Isn't good, my chef. Oh, I'm a kind.
You know what?
I was saying, hey, Abba. Hey, I was saying,
oh, you're a bracelet.
Oh, my dear. Oh, yeah,
£40 on number 6 Gandhi. Everything I've got. Here you are. Have one for yourself. It's sure to win.
You're not allowed to bet, sir.
Well, that's your loss.
Pleased to meet you, Mr. Mensah.
Oh, thank you.
My best wishes to you.
Thank you. Mrs. Mensah Lojan. You are the Babu from the Malan.
Pleased to meet you, Mrs. Mensah.
You are very late, you know.
Not too late to Mr. and Mrs. Mensah. You can't out of my head. Now, ladies and gentlemen, a toast for Mr. and Mrs. Mensah.
To Mr. and Mrs. Mensah. My, don't you look after your niece well, eh?
No, I'm not responsible. Mensah and way.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. The race meeting stewards have heard the objection raised against number 6 Candy and have upheld it. Results are now as follows. First, horse number 7. Second, horse number 12. Third, horse number 4. And fourth, horse number 13. I will repeat. The objection in the last race has been upheld. Results are now as follows. First, number 7. Second, number 12.
Whatever man so wants, man so gets, and it's a house, it's his own house he wants. Whatever man so had, man so spent, on timber frame, cement, and nails he thinks. It only goes to prove once again, don't let your cash out of sight, you can't win. There's no exception to this rule. It's irresistible to fool your king.
I mean, I call that they said, but what make a moon name? That's a hand again, if it's a pain in a dog, man should be like a count for now who is damaged there. Me dancing, I'm more better than coffee me than my bam examine it. What now? And see, it's a band being here with it. It's a banana man, the oldest together, who you poor, no, I've been, they get good tea. Oh, Major, until a shrug academy than one views here. Madam in him there where you see. Then I saw no more of a sick of your bango. Number Richard, no way you done no cry. Najamanyamako, an Airbnb, Nawaka made me. Mrs. Commander of Fambayadina. Mampa, Mobile, Ben, you ought to do. I say, hey, I am Mama, don't do. Hey.
Your father tried to say, easy son, you let your trust go too far, did you think? You were accepted from this rule. You were impossible to fool, poor thing.
Papa, what done in your?
Win why?
And I catch you. Ah! What's it? And someone come at you. Look at you, I'm not. Get down, come on, fast
There is still a chance that Mr. Mensah can finish his house. The government has set up a Department of Rural Housing, which is charged with improving and developing our villages, provided the people of the village themselves will help. Mr. Mensah wants to see his house finished, and many of you would like to have houses of your own, houses which are a little better than are to be found in this town.
There is something in what you say. We have heard people talk like you before. It warms our hearts, but it does not build houses. Houses cost money. We in this town are poor.
Are you poor? You have men here who can work. You call that poor? You have women to carry water. You have stones in the hills, sand by the sea, trees in the forest. You have masons and carpenters among you. You call that poor?
Cement costs 15 shillings a bag, sir.
That is not an answer. Since when has to sit down and do nothing been an answer? Nana and elders, there was a time when everyone in this town worked for the good of all. Nana only had to order a gong to be beaten, and all the Safo companies were ready to obey. God helps those who help themselves. For God's sake then, help yourselves. Clear the bush, fell the trees, fetch the sand, gather the stones. Show that you're in earnest. Then and only then, government through us will help.
Your words are as loud as a drum and as empty. What help will government give? Many times we hear, government will do this, government will do that. We never see anything done.
Nana and elders, government will help. They will send you machines and skilled men free of charge to help. They will draw plans of your new town and help you build new houses, cleaner, better, and lovelier than before. But first, you yourselves must make a start.
Excuse me, sir. You say we will have the use of the machines and skilled men to help us build?
Yes, but you must first make a start, a real start.
Sir, I for one am willing. I lost nearly all my money, but I'm willing to begin again. And I.
Aman, never said that I never catch him with you.
Yata Zakacha Hena, I feel in Dara. Ye Josie, Mum Crawford by a half of the Sam Robotum, so about my Damara. One but there will met Trafon and Sophie now may share. And Bain, Messiafu, I am of Frabina, one bra, my boy, age may. Ma has how many on Tumpan, Damra, Mamma Tumpany. Say a pair of Bayaraza or young Kumpon, Basha Hamba, no one may have holding my diet. Oh, my young sample, that's when I mean, the boy, it's my head that I own you, man.
Mr. Mensah, but I think you need to add a little more cement wash to your paint.
Thank you. Otherwise, we are doing fine.
Yes, I can see that. You really have made progress in the last 8 weeks.
We'll finish in 2 weeks.
Yes, you should. Has your nephew finished his sentence yet?
Not yet. Maybe he would have preferred hard labor.
Whatever Kofi wants, Kofi gets, and little man what you get says you right. Make up your mind to have no regrets. Refine, young man, resign yourself, you're through. I'll play him as a two men. I'll play him as a crowd.
In the Gold Coast, Nkrumah had formed his own political party and won a massive majority in 1956 elections. This resulted in getting the British to agree to grant independence in March of the following year.
Between Queen Victoria and the chiefs of Fante. Change upon change. And now today, the climax of Ghana's march to nationhood and full membership of the modern world. Governor-General, the Earl of Listowel, speaks the will of Britain and of Ghana, a joint will, formed by peoples who respect and know and understand each other.
Mr. Speaker and members of the National Assembly, I come to prorogue this Parliament and to bid you all farewell. By midnight tonight, the monarchy of Ghana will cease and a new republic will be formed. It is a tribute to the genius of the people of Ghana that this decision, so often in the past only accomplished after bloodshed, bitterness and revolution, has taken place in Ghana with the utmost goodwill, without recrimination, and in accordance both with the letter and the spirit of the present Constitution. Mr. Speaker, members of the National Assembly, the time has now come when I must take leave of you. I wish to the President-elect and to the people of Ghana the utmost good fortune and prosperity in the future.
As symbolized in the excellent person of the Earl of Listowel, the pomp and pageantry of British power depart. But there remains behind, for Britain and for Ghana, something more enduring, the reality of trust and good faith. And that, once again, is how it should be. The British monarchy of Ghana comes to an end, but the Republic of Ghana at once enters the Commonwealth of Nations as a free and equal member, eager and ready to play a full part. Every one of us, whether we come from Britain or from Ghana, can be proud of this great and peaceful change. In a world of wars and rumors of wars, this happy transition is a triumph for the rights of man, for the equality of all men, no matter what their nation, race, or creed. And so the second and the last Governor-General of Ghana leaves Accra. He goes with the warm good wishes and affection of government and people alike. Many Britons have served in this country. Often enough their names are lost in the long record of the years and centuries. Others are not forgotten and will not be forgotten. Maclean, Guggisberg, Arden Clark, and now Listowel. They and their like are a living part of the interwoven story of the peoples of Britain and Ghana. Men who worked mightily to build a common tradition of service and mutual respect. A tradition that has long existed and, God willing, shall continue to exist. Farewell, Ghana. Good wishes and good luck.
On March 6, 1957, Kwame Nkrumah led the British West African colony of the Gold Coast to independence as the nation of Ghana. The jubilant independence ceremonies and Nkrumah's inauguration as Prime Minister were attended by political figures from around the world. Ghana was the first black African nation to gain independence. Its achievement inspired independence movements across Africa in the years that followed.
There is a new African in the world. That new African is ready to fight his own battle and show that after all, the black man is capable of managing the whole affairs.
Ago, when you come, Madame Kakra, and when you come in when Siam Kakra, Menkasapi. Damper Makade, Makan Papa Kakra, and you Makan Fancy. At long last, the battle has ended. And thus, Ghana, your beloved country, is free forever. And here again, I want to take the opportunity to thank the kings and people of this country, the youth, the farmers, the women, who have so nobly fought and won this battle. Also, I want to thank the valiant ex-servicemen who have so cooperated with me in this mighty task of freeing our country from foreign rule and imperialism. And as I pointed out at our private conference at Sorbonne, I made it quite clear that from now on today, we must change our attitudes, our minds. We must realize that from now on, we are no more a colonial, but a free and independent people. But also, as I pointed out, that also entails hard work. I am depending upon the millions of the country, the chiefs and people, to help me to reshape the destiny of this country. We are prepared to build it up and make it a nation that will be respected by every other nation in the world. We know we are going to have difficult beginnings, but again, I am relying upon your support. I'm relying upon your hard work. Seeing you in this thousands, it doesn't matter how far my eye goes. I can see that you are here in your millions. And my last warning to you is that you ought to stand firm behind us so that we can prove to the world that when the African is given a chance, he can show to the world that he's somebody. We shall no more go back to sleep anymore.
Today, from now on, there is a new African in the world. That new African is ready to fight his own battle and show that after all, the black man is capable of managing his own affairs. We are going to demonstrate to the world, to the other nations, young as we are, that we are prepared to lay our own foundation. As I said in the assembly just minutes ago, I made a point that we are going to see that we create our own African personality and identity. It's the only way in which we can show the world that we are ready for our own battle. But today, may I call upon you all that at this great day, let us all remember that nothing in the world can be done unless it has the full support of God. We have done the battle, and we again rededicate ourselves not only in the struggle to emancipate other territories in Africa. Our independence is meaningless unless it is linked up with the total reflection of the African continent. Let us now, fellow Ghanaians, let us now ask for God's blessing. And for only 2 seconds, in your thousands and millions, I want to ask you to pause only for 1 minute and give thanks to Almighty God for having led us through obstacles, difficulties, imprisonments, hardship and suffering to have brought us to the end of our struggle today. 1 minute silence. Ghana is free forever. And here, I will ask the band to play the Ghana national anthem. Freedom! 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 And God bless you.